Sorry, guys. There we are.
We're just two right brain people
Yeah,
fumbling through life.
Yeah, there we are. I might have not been recording all of this because I think I didn't. I was streaming, but I don't think I was recording. Oh well, Magni won't have so much of it. But anyway, in Ghost Stories tonight, I teach a class like I told you guys called Experiences with Spirit, and so tonight we're going to talk about some ghost stories. So this is the PowerPoint that I teach my class on. And so remember I told you last week about the tree that had the baby head coming out of it? Well, there it is. There's the picture. That's the baby's head that's coming out. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that as we get along. So a lot of you hear me talk a lot about a cabinet when we do mediumship. Well, this was one cabinet that we had made, one of the first cabinets we made in mediumship. And what a cabinet is in mediumship is where the medium sits in trance. And it usually is covered in the front with some curtains. And you sit in the cabinet and you go into the trance state. And you notice me because you see my glasses hanging from my shirt, as usual. I think that's my new MO, when you see my glasses hanging from my shirt. But anyway, this is so when you go to seance, the medium gets, now I'm not handcuffed in this one, but when you go into a seance, the medium is actually handcuffed to the chair. Both arms and legs are handcuffed, or well, zip tied to the chair. And it's because a seance is an experiment. So to keep it under strict controls, everyone is searched before they go in. You can wear no jewelry. They limit the metal that they allow into a room. And that's because, right, Deej, that's because if there's an A-port, we want to make sure that the A-port is real. So if a diamond falls from out of nowhere and hits the ground, we want to make sure. And I'm going to show you a picture of an A-port, actually, that happened for me, my first A-port. So, because I've actually had a live A-port. And so a medium sits in a cabinet. There's usually a curtain closing it. And then there's a group of people that sit around the cabinet and they pray and they sing and sing and sing. And they build the energy in the room. And the medium goes into the trance state. And while they're in the trance state, they produce something called ectoplasm, which is a white, almost looks like a cheesecloth substance that'll come from every orifice of their body. And if you take my class, you'll actually get to see some. And so that white substance will come out, and it will do amazing things. It will lift objects and move them around the room. It will form a loved one in front of you. Part of their body might form, or it may move stuff. It can do lots of creative stuff. That's called physical mediumship. I first saw my first seance when I was in Arthur Findlay College, and actually Scott Milligan was the first physical medium that I sat with. And indeed, if you think Michael Shane is amazing, have you ever sat with Scott? So Michael Shane, for me, when I saw Michael Shane, I like the billets. His stones are nice, but for me, I prefer his billet reading. Well,
What is that?
Billet reading?
Yeah.
Remember Johnny Carson when he used to do that act where he put the
Yeah.
Well, Michael Shane does it where he's blindfolded and you write a number on one side of an index card, and you write a question on the other side.
Okay.
And he'll rub it on his leg. He'll call out the number so you know it's your question.
Okay.
And then he answers it without ever looking at it.
All right.
So he'll answer your question.
That's interesting.
Yes. That's called billets.
I wish I had learned how to do this when I was in school.
So that's called billets. And so that's okay. Glad you made it, Brandy.
So you had said, I remember from a couple podcasts ago, that physical mediums tend to have shorter lifespans. Is it because of the strain that this takes on the body?
So think about this. When it depends. So when they put this ectoplasm out of their body and it goes and it's in a room and it's all over the floor and it's moving and picking up stuff. Well, when it goes back in, guess what? All that crap that was on the floor goes back inside their body.
And all that energy too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so that's
Okay.
why before we do a seance, we're always vacuuming the floors.
Yeah.
We don't let people wear shoes into the physical room. That's why everything is done so strict. And and I could have had one I will do a podcast on physical mediumship, and I will definitely I got more pictures I can show you. Like I can actually show you because we got pictures of Scott. They got a picture of Scott with ectoplasm
Yes, Taryn.
coming out of him, and actually you can see the ectoplasm getting ready to lift up a trumpet off the ground. So we got a picture of that.
Okay.
Actually, I could show it to you here tonight because I just can't.
We're
show it
gonna
to
add
them.
it to the pictures, yes. Later
So
on.
when I do one about that, I can actually show you that. But I mean, so I've seen some amazing things. I've seen Scott. I've seen 3 physical mediums in my lifetime. I've seen Scott, I've seen David, and I've seen Michael Shane. So I've seen all 3 of them, and I mean they all do different things, but probably the one that has the most broadest scope of stuff is probably Scott. I've seen him do the most broad
I'm looking forward to meeting him.
stuff. So it's absolutely phenomenal. And the first time you go to a seance, you're like, that didn't just happen. You're gonna try to say that didn't happen, but when you got trumpets flying around the room like 2 or 3 at a time, moving around, and toys are moving at the same time, and because he calls in children, he like, and that's what I like about him. He a lot of kids. He has a lot of spirit kids that follow him, and so it's just great. 'Cause little kids will come in and touch on the leg and stuff, and there's no
Aw.
kids in the room, but
Yeah.
little hands will come touch on the leg.
They're just
and,
curious.
and they'll talk to you and
I love that.
stuff. So it's really, and then you get evidence. And so like my dad came through and talked to my sister. My grandmother came through, so it's been really, really, really cool. So Michael Shane was supposed to come here, Deidre, in October, but I sold the center, so I told him I couldn't. I mean, he wanted me to host him in October this month, but I had sold the center, and that's what I told him. I said, I'm not in the business anymore. He was welcome to come, but I'm not. I sold the center. So, but Scott and David Thompson and are really, really. They're different. Michael Shane is a different physical medium than that's like the 2 different schools of thought, but they're all good. So I don't ever down anybody, but. Of all of them I've been to, and well, that's why he does touch eternity for me. Scott's my favorite because I've had him tested, and I know that he's 100% legit.
And that's what vibes with what you like,
Right.
and
'Cause I'm the
that's
type
good
person
though to
that
have.
it's
It's like a Chinese buffet.
Right.
There's different schools of thought, and you take what you like, and
and right.
exactly.
So the mediums try to stay away from evil spirit. Well, first of all, there are no the evil spiritual beings are here on Earth. Just know that there are no evil spirits on the other side. They're all here on Earth.
They're usually in Bourbon Street.
Right, he's on Bourbon Street of Pirates Alley. So, I'm teasing her. I guess she used the word. But no, there are no evil spirits. Once you cross. So let me explain something. When you meet with these physical mediums, they actually go in trance, and the voices will come out of them. Okay, the voice, and they'll explain things to you. And this is one of the spirits that came from one of Scott's spirits came through and gave a beautiful rendition of this. When you're born into this life, you're born with a very clean slate. Like you walk in with a clean slate, and throughout life, all the goodness and love that comes out of you gets put onto this slate in beautiful pastel colors, and all the evil or all the negative things you do, all are the darker colors or the not so pretty colors, right? So when your physical shell passes and you transition, as that slate transition, all the negative stuff slides off and only the pretty stuff goes with you. That's kind of how they explain it when you transition to the other side.
I like that.
So then you go into what they
That
call
makes
the place of
sense.
learning, when you go into the place of transition,
Mm-hmm.
of why you behaved the way you did. What did you learn? They call it the place of learning
Well,
because remember, nobody's born with hate.
you always
Nobody's
say
born with
too,
negativity.
which I think is a really good thing to keep in mind. Um, when you meet somebody or something upsets you or someone is trying to hurt you, you need to look at as approaching it with more of a sense of understanding
Right,
and trying to
understanding.
understand
Yeah, I
where
say
are they
that.
coming
Mhm.
from, why are they, what is the point of this, rather than responding with equal amounts of hate or vinegar.
Right.
Let's respond with some honey and understand and see where you are and what can I learn from this then too.
Because I learned, a lot of religions teach forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sorry, I don't believe in forgiveness anymore. I used to, I don't anymore, because I don't
God
care how
forgives, not
right,
Sid.
yeah, not said. Because I learned one thing, when somebody hurts you really bad, you can tell yourself you forgive them, but there's always that little seed that's buried
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in you. So I instead of trying to forgive somebody, I tried to understand why they did it.
Yes.
Like what happened to them that made them do something that tried to hurt me. And try to think about, well, maybe I should feel love for them because maybe they didn't have it as good as me, or maybe
They weren't enlightened enough to,
Right.
or because they didn't have maybe the experience or the education wasn't offered to even think like that to try and understand.
right, you know
Purgatory.
right. So I try to tell people, try to understand why someone tried to attack you. What's going on with that person that they felt that need to do that? What made that person feel that kind
Threatened.
of that threatened that they
Yes.
came at you like that? Try to understand. I'm saying to forgive them, and I'm not saying give them a free walk. And I'm not saying don't slap the hell out of them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying, and I tell I told this to somebody. I had a friend whose child was molested by another child, was raped by another child. And they went after the other child really badly. And I get it. You should in a way. But I said, but as you go after that child, I want you to remember that something had to happen to that
Yep.
child. That child had to learn rape.
Mm-hmm.
So that child that went after your child was probably raped too.
Yes. Yeah.
Was
we
probably
know- and we
sexually
know that.
assaulted.
Exactly.
Was probably, so so you can go after them, but you also have to get some therapy for that child as well.
Otherwise, the
Because
cycle is going to persist.
The cycle's going to persist. You got to figure out, what happened to that child. Because that child didn't just
grow up and figure out how to do those.
How to do it, right.
Something happened to them and they're acting out and they don't know how to heal, and the cycle will continue until that happens.
Absolutely. So, so I got to tell people, I said, try to understand it. You're going to be angry, and be angry. Angry is okay. Angry is a good response sometimes, and you may be frustrated. And that's a good thing, but learn to control your anger and kind of just learn
The grief cycle.
to understand it and go through that cycle and try to put yourself in a better energetic place. That's part of the energetics class that I teach. So
Can we go back to
yes.
pictures now?
So back to pictures. So that is physical mediumship. That is a mediumship cabinet. For those who want to know what is the box I'm sitting in, normally the medium's handcuffed, but me, I couldn't.
It looks like a little coffin from
kinda
how
does.
it's shaped and the colors, and that. Yeah, I'm in the spooky mood.
I don't trust people to handcuff.
No,
me.
to handcuff you in a coffin? No, I
That ain't
wouldn't.
happening.
No.
Or zip tie me up. That ain't happening. All right. So what's the next picture? And so that was my first A-port, guys. So that little pin right there, which I still have to this day, was my first A-port. So I'm going to tell you the story of this A-port. So when I was working at a hospital in Texas, I was on a unit talking to a nurse, and this is in April. It was March or April. I was talking to this nurse about FMLA. She was having migraine headaches, and I was trying, instead of her just continually to take off and get dinged for it, I was explaining to her about FMLA and the FMLA program. And so while I was explaining that to her, this pin fell right between the two of us. And so I looked at her and I said, "Did somebody just throw that at me?" She said, I said, "Ain't nobody behind me?" She said, "Nope." I said, you saw that? She goes, uh-huh. And she knows what I do. And I said, that wasn't that what, and I haven't even looked down and seen it yet. I said, was there anything on the ceiling? She said, nope. And she looked at me and she goes, Sid, you're scaring me. I said, scaring you? I bent down, I pick it up, and I said, Santa loves me. What's that about, right? Well, on this particular unit, it was an antepartum unit at this hospital, and the manager, who was a very young woman, we were at a hospital party, and the night of that party, she went home and she passed away post the party. And she was only in her late 40s. She was not, maybe early 50s, probably late 40s, early 50s. Very young woman, and she passed away at home. And this was her unit. All kind of freaky stuff was happening after she had passed away. Well, this fell between us, and I'm like, why this pen in April? Santa loves me. So, so
and
thinking,
it's pink too,
right? And it's pink. And so I'm like, well, it was an antepartum unit, because she was like the manager of this unit. And it's like, why Santa loves me? It didn't dawn on me. Well, we were planning this trip to Jefferson, Texas, which you're about to see some pictures from, right? And about 3 days after I get this pen, her daughters call me, and it hits me. Her daughter calls me and says, Sid, my mom used to take us to there on vacations. We want to come with the group to go on this ghost hunt because our mom used to take us there, and it's going to be great memories for us. And it hit me because her daughters' names were Sarah and Laura, and M is mom. So what she was trying to tell me was she knew her children were going to call me to go on that trip. So I couldn't tell them no. So I let her two daughters come on the trip with me because
and it's pink.
And so it was like girls, her knew that, and that wasn't the only APORT I got on that unit, but that was
your first.
That was my first APORT. It just came out of nowhere, and that was for Santa. It was Sarah Laura Mom, is what I say. Because why that? So the
what
story
I like
gets
too
the story
is
gets
that you
even,
were aware, because I'm thinking,
but it gets even more crazy.
Okay.
As the story as we get further, it gets even more crazy. So I'll finish this story, then I'll get into the other APORT. So then we get to the trip, and I show her daughter the pen. I show Laura the pen, and she goes, "That's my mom's pen. Where'd you get it?" I said, "I told you what happened." She says, No. That was at her house. Mm-hmm. How did you get it? My mom collect pens. That one was at her house. I said, well, I was at the hospital that night because I got it at the hospital.
She gave it to me.
She gave it to me.
She wanted it back, but she gave it to me.
I offered it back. She said, no, I could keep it since it was my first APORT. So she did let me keep it. So that's pretty much what happened. So, yes, those were the first letters on the pen, Sarah Laura Mom. So, so that was them, her way of letting me know that her daughters were about to call me to come on that trip, and I'd better let them come. So I let them come. So we had a wonderful, you're going to get to see them at the end of this. So you'll get to see, well, of course they've grown now because this was years ago, but you'll get to see her daughters on this trip with us. Well, at least one of them, because like one of them took the picture, I think, and the other daughters, and you get to see Laura. Anyway, so that was that APORT. Then at the same hospital, other than the fact that the phone would ring at 2 a.m. every morning and nobody would be there, it was really weird. And then the electronic doors. I
just listened to a podcast about ghost calls.
The electronic doors would just open up at a certain time and close by themselves. So we knew it was her coming in and out of the unit. Yeah. It was crazy. So lots of stuff like that would happen on this unit. Anyway, one of the nurses on that unit, who I love to death, and haven't seen her in a long time because I moved, I had to try to separate myself. So I had to try to, break away from my grieving because I had a lot of good friends there when I got forced to move back to Louisiana. I left a lot of good friends in Texas, a lot of very dear friends. So I had to try to break away from my grief by that. But while I was, and I still talk to occasionally, every blue moon I'll talk to somebody, but one of them will call me up. But she was making us bracelets. She was making us beaded bracelets, and she had made magnes, and she needed a piece of magnetic
claps.
No, magnetic stone.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Tourmaline.
No, no. It's the magnetic. It's silver.
It starts with malachite.
And you can see, I can tell I'm out to business now, right? Because I don't forgot all my stones. Anyway, it's one that's magnetic. It's a piece of. It's one that grounds you.
It's not malachite, is
No,
it?
no. It's. Come on, gang, y'all! I know y'all out
Yeah,
here watching this.
crystal people
All right, crystal
come together.
people. It's a very common stone. It's gray. It's magnet. It's silver.
Hematite.
Hematite.
Yes.
That's it. Thank you, Charmaine. So it was a piece of hematite, and we're in a hospital. Like I'm on this unit. I'm on antepartum, and it's like, Sid, I cannot find any hematite. I don't know when I'm going to fin. I want to finish a bracelet. What I'm going to do? You need to find me some hematite. And I looked. I said, we're in a damn hospital. Where am I find hematite? I opened the door and looked down. It was at my feet. I said, you mean like this?
Yeah. Bam.
Bam. There it was. I said, you mean like this? And she says, what? I said, it was just right here on the floor of the hospital. Here you go. So, yeah, that was my second A port. So at that hospital, and I believe my nurse friend that passed away sent that to me too. So I still have that bracelet, actually. Very, very special. So that was my 2 A ports. And there is the Arthur Findlay College. So I spent time there a couple of times. So, and took classes. So if you're a medium and you want to go to England and take classes,
It's interesting structure. It looks gothic.
it is. It's very gothic. And so that is the Arthur Findlay College. I would recommend not going this year because they got some board stuff happening. So I'd probably wait till next year and go sometime, maybe at the end of 2025, maybe. They just got some, they just reorganizing their board right now. And I don't know if y'all if y'all followed them, you'll see some stuff online. So if you sign up for a class, they still having a class, but you may not get the tutor you thought you were going to have. So they got substitute tutors coming in and out. So if you go in there to be with a specific tutor, you may want to wait until.
Does it
the end
do
of
like
2025.
paranormal?
They do different
specialty?
things,
Okay.
but most of it's all mediumship and healing.
Okay.
The majority of it's mediumship, healing, and trance. Is what most of it is. They don't do a lot of ghost stuff there because it's very yes, very
Metaphysical.
gothic. Yes, very metaphysical. And you will definitely. I had some wild experiences there. So that
There we go.
that's another cabinet on the left. That's Gordon Higginson. He's one of the world's most famous mediums, and he was the founder of Arthur Findlay College. He was like the dean there for ever and ever till he passed away. I think he passed away in the late 90s or early 2000s. He passed away, but that was his cabinet, and that red light.
His looks comfy.
yes.
You need a cabinet like that.
Yeah,
The nice comfy chair.
I have a comfy chair.
Well, not in that one cabinet, but in
Not
the
the
picture.
other, no, not in the picture.
Yeah.
No, I have one. I have a chair in the other room that's very comfy. I even got the zip tie things there for you.
Okay. Yeah, you tell us that story. We'll
I'll
have
tell
to
you
have
that
that
story.
story another time.
We
Yeah.
have to have that story. Yeah, I had a guest sleep over one night and they had the zip ties, and she wouldn't
And the body bag that they
and you have
found.
the body
yeah.
bag that we keep the cabinet in. She would never. She got up that morning. She ran out of here. She would never come because she slept in her car before she slept by. She would not stay here. She thought me and Maddie were going to murder her and put her in a
Adventures
bag.
with Sid and Magni.
Yeah, Adventures with Sid and Magni. So that's there. And then there was no fog when we took this picture. So I don't know where that came from, but I kept that picture
Would you
because
say that's fog or ectoplasm?
I have no. That is not ecto.
Okay.
I would say that's fog that was not there
All right.
when I took the picture. I don't know where it came from. Ecto's thicker, like it's thicker and more concentrated. So no, Ecto is very thick. It's very concentrated. It's more like what's on the ground there.
Yeah, this is more wispy.
Right. This, I don't know where this came from, so I put it in. I'm like, guys, when I took this picture, it was of the bush. I'm like, where'd the fog come from? I'm like,
Do you see
I
anything in
have
it?
no idea.
Like a shape?
You could say maybe right.
Yeah,
Well, wait,
because
I
that's-
promise, Meg, if I do this, you could say maybe right there
Mhm.
and maybe there, but I
That's-
don't know where it came from. Like, so I put the picture in there. Like I said, I don't know what's there, but it wasn't there when I took the picture.
But
And
that is how a lot of ghost photography starts.
Yep. Now let's see. Let's let's see over here now. Let's click again. And this was my room, because I got a private room in the college. You don't have many of those. So if you ever go to Arthur Findlay, you want to book your room early and try to get one of the private colleges. And like I said, that's just one gigantic orb up there. I thought that was kind of weird just to have one big one in the picture, like where are the rest? Because usually where there's one, there's many, right? So, and I'm not a big orb fan. Like,
That's what I was going to ask you.
I am not a big, like, to me, I try to not be a big, I'm not, people are like, ooh, orbs. Sometimes orbs are dust, so it's really hard to figure out what's real, what's not. But that would be a big piece of dust.
Okay, so
that would be a big piece of dust.
I have taken a picture once. I lived in this haunted house in Cincinnati, and it was the biggest orb I've ever seen, just centered in a hallway. And I'm trying to think of a nice way to phrase this, as instead of going back to the age-old adage of does size matter, but we're going to go there. Does orb size matter? Because I would think it would.
I'm going to show. Well, I'm going to. Yeah, that's pretty big. That's a big piece of dust.
That's a big orb. Exactly. Well, that's why I'm saying it would debunk that it could possibly be.
Or is it? Because let's be realistic. Is it dust on my camera lens? See, when you do
piece of dust, though.
But when you do ghost hunting, you got to try to debunk
eliminate
everything.
Yes.
You try to debunk. You got to look at every possible angle. But then again, it would be on other pictures, and it wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Why that picture,
exactly.
none of the others? But that's how you have to think. When you ghost hunt, you want to look at other things. You try to debunk everything.
That's why I think size does matter.
And look at these up in the air.
And how perfectly round they are. And those are almost the same shape.
And these are all around the college, notice. And so that's it's a very spiritual place. These were all around the college. And these were taken with a 35 millimeter camera.
I don't know if that's translating well. Is it translating well onto there? Can people see it?
I don't know. Can y'all see the big orbs over the college? Say yes or no. You see, like, I'll point to them. See them right here and here?
I don't know if they can see that.
Yeah, well.
Your cursor.
They can see my cursor.
There's your cursor. Okay. It's like a little bat.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because when we get to the video, we're going to be able to see the shadow better than they are. And then Jefferson, Texas. Look at this big orb over here. And again, it's pretty big.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's a little one next to it. You see it? Right there.
Oh.
Go down.
Oh, right there.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. And this was in our hotel. Now, Jefferson, this room had a whole bunch, if you notice. Now, this was a ghost tour. This was one of my paranormal nuts. I don't know who none of these other people are. But
they're just nuts.
They're just nuts. And let's see. And this was you can see the big one up here.
Mm-hmm.
The big one up here. And then this was part of the ghost tour. They were taking us through the town. Well, this is the ghost tour. I mean, this is a whole town. This is a whole haunted town you go to. If y'all would like to go, I'd be glad to take you. It's a town full of bed and breakfasts. We can go spend like the weekend or whatever. And we could do a whole weekend there.
We need to do that.
Oh, there's another.
It's going to be on the bucket list for 2025. Right.
And there's another shot, and they're not there. That's why I said, sometimes you want to visit the camera, or is it the?
There's a lot there.
Oh no, it gets worse. That's just. This is moving towards the area where. So this town was a river town that the river dried up. It was the outlet of Sabina, so it was a river town. And then when the river dried up, when they rerouted the river, the town became a ghost town. And so and then they just made it a bed and breakfast town. Now they do ghost tours and stuff. There were a lot of slaves in this town too at one time. So you're going to see where they used to take to slaughter them, actually. And this is now.
It's a lot of more concentration there.
Oh,
yeah. So now I'm wondering too, also, if there is a difference with the color, if that indicates perhaps a stronger presence.
Right. So according to when we went to Cassadaga, and I don't know how true all this is, the orbs are not the actual spirits. The spirits are to the side. The orbs are actually the reflection of light that come from a spirit.
So that you could say maybe the spirits are sending out an orb,
or sending out an energy that
that creates an orb. So perhaps one spirit, like that one to
like,
the
what is this? You see that?
yeah. I think that's an
I think
emblem
it's
on the
a wall.
stone.
Yeah, no, I think that's a. I think that's a something.
That's on the
written.
stone. That's not a
Yeah, that's something on the stone.
an
What the
orb.
hell? But there's an orb like in the center of it.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of crazy. It's like, tell me that ain't no big orb.
No,
there.
no.
All right, so let's go look again. And they're going to get more and more.
Mhm.
But look at the see how they got little nucleuses in them and
Yeah.
stuff, which I found wild. But anyway, like even in the
See how
trees,
bright? Yeah, there's tons of them there. They're like little stars.
oh, they get bad when you get into
Yeah.
certain. Now, I think some of this might be dust.
Dust. Some of that, yeah. Because there's so many. And how that one is split. I've never seen them split.
Right. So some of that might be dust.
And there you can tell they sense them though.
Now that right there is
Their
Laura.
sense-
That's Laura from Sarah Laura. There I am, and that's the rest of the group there. I don't know if they want me to call their names out because I do all their names, but I don't want to call all their names out in case they don't want their names out publicly. But anyway, and
There's some mist.
yeah, but it could be one of them smoking. You got to look at that.
I know.
'Cause the other
Well,
girl had a
no, that's
cigarette
why
in her hand.
you're skeptical about this,
I'm
which
very
is good,
skeptical.
and that's how you need to approach it.
I'm very skeptical.
So, I have, when I've been ghost hunting, some of the things that I'll do sometimes too, where I've actually had really good success with it in Vicksburg, is I'll ask if I'm feeling or sensing a ghost.
Can I see the line?
I'll ask if I can take their picture.
All right, so let's see.
Have
Now
you-
look at all. Now this road here was the road where they used to take the slaves to hang them or slaughter them. So I don't know if those are legitimate orbs for the slaves or
Did you ever do that? Like say, hey, can I take your picture?
no.
And okay.
No, I'm a medium. I can talk to them with my mind.
Well,
I don't have to say
okay.
it.
That is okay. You think that
I'm
is
a
maybe
medium. I can talk to them with my mind. So because they don't need you to speak loud. See, that's when I go and so and people, I'm not calling you out, I promise, but as a medium, I know spirits can read. They hear your mind. They don't need you to call out to them, but but on TV they call out to you when they're filming, so you can hear what they're calling.
Mm-hmm.
But if you walk into a room, I can just think in my head, if there's someone here, come to me. I don't have to go. When you watch the video, you can hear us calling them verbally as a group, but you don't have to do that. As you do this business, as you get in this business more, you learn more and more. They're spirits. They hear your mind. They don't need to hear your voice.
And that's why I'm so grateful that the
Now,
majority of spirits
now-
I've connected with have a
Right.
great sense of humor.
Right. What's good about the voice, though, is that the voice helps them, gives them energy, it gives them the ability to come closer. But if you don't want them to come that close, just think it,
Mm-hmm.
because they can read
That
your
protected
mind. See,
bubble,
now
yes.
that's where they
That's
used to
it.
slaughter them.
It's a lot.
That's the area where they used to slaughter the slaves. And again, that could be a lot of dust because that's all grass and weeds
Yeah,
and
but those
pollen.
are
And I think some could be and some could not
Mhm.
be. And this is inside the hotel, one of the hotels we went in. And now we were on this ghost tour, and we get in front of this house, and the tour guide goes, "Does anybody knows what happened here? Can anybody guess what happened here?" And the girl Laura screams out, "He's a medium! What happened here?" And I said, "Well, this man killed his wife and his child, and sure enough, that's what happened." And the man's in the window right there. Look, see? There he is. He was actually watching us. See, can you see his head? Can y'all
Uh-huh.
see that? In the window right there? There's the man. And he has a cane.
Do you ever get them not in gray, like more in color and more full body pictures, or have you ever gotten that?
I've seen it. I've not caught it on camera, but I've seen it on camera.
Okay. I haven't either. I'm just curious.
I mean, he's got some green in him. But
Yeah.
other than that.
He's tall.
Mhm. Now
There's
this
the
is the
baby.
picture. Remember I told you about the baby's head? Oh, okay, there we go. Told you about the baby's head. Well, here's the story. So here's the baby's grave right here. And this baby wanted to be alive so bad that baby, that tree sucked that baby up. That baby's head is right here. And if you go to the back of the tree, the baby's ass is on the back of the tree. I kid you not. That is so damn cool. That was one of the, I thought that this was my favorite part of the trip. Because I was like, that is Mother Nature at its finest. Because when you go look at that, it is not carved. There's no knife mark. There's no nothing. But that little baby that's buried in that grave right there. And then on that tree is a baby's head. And you go to the back and the baby's behind and the crack is in the back of that tree. You're like, damn. To me, that was the most impressive part of the whole trip was that baby's head and that baby's behind on the back of that tree.
He was making his presence known and coming out.
It's really weird. He did not want to go. He wanted to see what was going on. He wanted to see who's coming to see him.
Front and back.
Yeah, he just wanted to know who coming to check him out.
Yep.
I was actually the coolest thing. I kept thinking, somebody put like a. I'm trying to think how they did it. Like, did they take a doll's head and put it on the tree? And then like let the wood fall grow around it.
No,
you know?
it's too well done. I mean, it's.
And then I walked behind it and saw the behind. Like, well, they didn't take nobody's booty and put it back here, because the booty on the back.
The back is sculpted way too well.
Right. So I was because the bark doesn't grow on the back of the tree, like where the booty is.
And the way it's
took a picture of
shaped,
the
bark
back.
doesn't. It's not going to grow like that.
I'm hoping it's still there when we go back, because this was what, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, 12 years ago, maybe. So I can't wait to go back and see, because I'm definitely going back there. So I definitely want to go. Spotted him before you pointed him out. Hello, yeah. So that's his grave right there, because that's a child's grave, and then boom, right out the tree. To me, that was cool as hell. That was my favorite part of the trip right there. That made my day. Okay, so what I'm about to let you listen to, so this is an audio, and y'all gonna be able to hear it. At the 14-second mark on the first one, you're gonna hear there's a boy that fell off a ladder and broke his neck. You're gonna hear him speak while we're calling to him. 14 seconds in on the first one and 4 seconds in on the other one. So I gotta pull this up first, and then so I can watch. Make sure that the desktop's on, so y'all should be able to hear the audio. I want to make sure y'all gonna hear it. Okay, y'all ready? Here we go. See if y'all can hear it. Could y'all hear that? Somebody write me so I know, because we can't hear it too good on our side, because it's going from the TV into the audio for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and play the 4-second clip, because it's 4 seconds in is when you're going to hear the kids speak while we're talking.
Oh, they could hear.
Anyone hear from me tonight? Anyone hear from me?
Yeah. It's almost like a whisper you hear behind us when we're talking. Yep, y'all heard it? Good.
Can you play it again?
So I'll play it for you later so you can
Okay,
hear it. Because
thank
they can hear,
you.
because it's going directly into the computer. We can't hear because we're on the outside. Is it that good? So that's cool. Now, this next thing y'all going to see. So we're not really doing table tipping. We're more doing like a seance type thing, where we're just trying to see if we can pull some energy in and see if we can get something to happen. Right while I'm talking, before the girl that's sitting next to me in a black shirt, you're going to see a shadow. I'm going to use the pointer, go from her across this curtain to me. There is nobody walking in this room. Okay. So you're going to see the shadow go from her, like a body go from her and cross and go over into me. And it's going to happen. I'll try to cue y'all when I see it. Okay, let me get down here and play it for you. Come on now. There it is. Let's play it.
The way the vibes in the table there are pretty.
Yeah, you feel the table like it's almost like it's breathing.
Mine, her fingers are pounding.
There it goes.
Is
You
the
saw
Colonel
it?
here?
Is the Colonel
When I
with us
said there it
still?
goes, I
Is the
saw
Colonel
it
here with us
cross.
still? Is the Colonel in the room?
I'm gonna play it again for y'all, okay? It's real quick. It goes from her to me. Let me pull it back. I would like to try to stop it. Come on, how can I pull this thing back? It's real quick, but you see a shadow go from her to me, and there's nobody walking in this room. There's somebody. I'm just going to let it play out, let it start over.
The way the vibes in the table
There.
there are pretty.
Yeah, you feel the table like it's almost like it's breathing.
Mine, her fingers are pounding.
Right there.
Yeah,
Is the
I see
There it
Colonel
goes.
here?
Yeah.
We can see it on
Colonel
our
with
end.
us
Can y'all
still?
see it?
Is the Colonel here with us still? Is the Colonel in the room?
It was a shadow that went from her,
It looked like a
me.
person too, the
yeah.
way that it was shaped.
and there's nobody walking in the room. There's one girl sleeping in the bed, and there's the four of us on the table. So Daphne could see it. So that was actually while we were calling in that person. That shadow went from her to me. I'll play it one more time for you guys to
The way
see
the
it.
vibes in the table there are pretty.
Yeah, you feel the table like it's almost like it's breathing.
Mine, her fingers are pounding.
There it
Is the
goes.
Colonel here?
Is the Colonel
Right
with
before
us
she says
still?
the Colonel here, it goes right
Is the
over.
Colonel here with us still? Is the
All right,
Colonel
we're
in
gonna
the
look
room?
at the next slide, and that's the last one here. So let's see. Oh, there they are. So that's Laura. That's Sarah. No, that's Laura. That's Sarah. I had it backwards. That's Sarah. That's Laura. So you're gonna. That's me and Magni.
Oh. Now, my job to keep you on task.
Huh?
Are you going to do a reading?
Of course I am.
We are running late tonight, but we've still got some
Nope.
people.
One more thing I got to show y'all.
Yes, the fairy.
So
in
y'all see this right
Cassadaga.
here. So we were at a fairy garden, and right there, Magni. So we were at a fairy garden in Cassadaga, and Magni got a picture of that. Look at a couple orbs there, but look when we blew it up, we actually caught a fairy on camera. And you can't see it good here. It looks better. The TV distorts it. If you look
Looks
at the
better on there,
looks better on the screen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a little, looks like a little, so we don't know if that's what that is, but we were at a fairy garden, out flew that thing, and Magni was able to catch it on camera. So we think if you believe in fairies, we think we got one. So Magni actually got to catch it on camera, and that was at Cassadaga. So that was another one of the cool pictures that we got. So thanks to Arthur Findlay College, the town of Jefferson, and Cassadaga, because I didn't put Cassadaga in there. So let's go back to our other screen. Next week will be the day before Halloween. So we're going to wrap up our ghost story, our Halloween month with, I actually got another PowerPoint full of all the Ghost and Legends tour of the French Quarter, all the haunted places in the
Nice.
French Quarter. So I'll dig up all the history and stories of all the haunted places in New Orleans that you can go visit. And so you're going to have to help me with that.
I will.
And
all the ones that you can maybe cajole your way into trying to
yes, and so we will give you, or I'll call my friend Kalila up, and she'll
Yes.
give me the lowdown on each one. I know most of it, but I want to make sure I don't give y'all any wrong history. So we'll give you some haunted history for New Orleans next Wednesday. Yes, you and Samaria tune in. That would be wonderful. And I will do the haunted history tour of New Orleans, and I have all pictures of all the haunted hotels and the haunted locations, and like the Sultan's
And the
Den and the
stories.
LaLaurie House, and
Yes.
I have all the good haunted New Orleans places. And I'll even try to upload the Axeman Hotel with the picture of the Axeman you have.
Yes.
So I'll try to get all that
creepy.
loaded up so I can tell you all about the Axeman story. And I'll even tell you the story about the convent and the
Ooh, that one creeps me out.
that is a creepy story.
And
I'll tell you about the convent
and the
stories.
girls from the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that briefly.
Yeah. So
Yes. We're going to turn up the creep vibe next week.
and next week we're going to turn up the creep vibe for you guys. And I will do some more readings for you guys. And those of you who are able to join us next week, I will do some more readings. And those of you can come join us Friday night at the battlefield. Come see Trenny and I. We'll be reading people at the battlefield. And that'll start at 6:30. We're going to come swift your way over to us at the battlefield.
Bring your glitter and sequins.
Yes, dress up, dress wild. See you.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you guys. We love you. Take care. Bye.